What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is August 21st of 2017. So as you all know if you watch my channel, I love trying to spot trends and really dig deep into markets so I can provide opportunities for my viewers and fellow investors. And I've been finding a recent trend in cryptocurrency markets that has gotten me so interested, I've almost fallen down the rabbit hole of really trying to figure out why it's happening. And even though I plan to do a follow-up video to really dive deep into why I think it's happening, I want to cover right now the current opportunity at stake. So, first off, before we can cover the opportunity, let's talk about the general trend we've seen. And the trend I want to talk about today is the mass amount of volume we're seeing in South Korean exchanges. And this has been happening to a lot of different cryptocurrencies across the range of coins that we have available. And the main candidate I want to talk about today is BitHum. Okay, so BitHum is one of the largest South Korean exchanges. And we can see that it has over $1.1 billion in traded volume over the past 24 hours. Now, to some of you, that might sound like a lot, and to some of you, it might not sound like a lot. And a lot of you probably would say, well, Nick, if we look up here at the 24-hour volume, it's almost sitting at 8 billion. Is that really that much? Well, to give you a good comparison, let's use our fan favorite, Bittrex. Bittrex is at 483 million in volume. That's twice as much, more than twice as much than Bittrex. So have your attention now. I mean, this is pretty exciting, folks. It shows that there's a lot of institutional money. This isn't, you and I kind of average Joe's trading. This is serious institutional money coming in from South Korea. Now, who knows where it's coming from? I have no idea who. Maybe it's a specific individual who has a ton of money and too much time on his hands, or maybe really likes cryptocurrencies, or maybe it's large hedge funds, VCs. No one really knows at this point. All we know right now is that we can follow the money, and we can see that there is $1.1 billion being traded in the past 24 hours alone. That's a lot of money. That's institutional money. So, what does this look like in the cryptocurrency market? Well, we've seen ever since Bitcoin's been kind of tethering down, having a pullback, a lot of Korean exchanges have dominated recent altcoins. And we're going to go through a few of them and show you what that looks like. So, as we go over here, the first candidate I want to talk about was the most recent one, which was Ethereum. A lot of people saw Ethereum spike today, had a 14% increase comparative to Bitcoin, actually a little bit higher earlier, and then we also have a 12% increase comparative to the USD valuation. So definitely a nice jump up on this. The question is, where was the volume coming from? Well, if we look at the markets where it was exchanged, BitHum, Korean exchange. Next one, Coin1, another Korean exchange. Millions of dollars in volume. And then we have a Chinese exchange, OKCoin, and then Corbit, another Korean exchange, completely blowing away the competition, making up between those four exchanges over 50% of the volume. Or near 50%, I apologize, that might be a little bit off. But we can see that there is a massive volume coming into these exchanges. And there's got to be a reason for it. It's fundamental money, folks. I've been telling you all for quite some time that Asian markets are going to adopt cryptocurrency very early on, and they're going to start putting some big money up into it. But as much as I want to say that China was going to be that candidate, I'm kind of blown away. It seems like South Korea is at least making the move right now. So, and if you want to know what that looks like on a chart, folks, before we look at price action, look at the volume down here. These are the volume candles. It measures how much Bitcoin has been traded over the past 24 hours with this altcoin. Look at that. It is the highest traded amount of Bitcoin on Ethereum in history. There has never been more Bitcoin traded with Ethereum any other day than today. That's historical. That's an all-new high for volume. And it's going to the upside. It's not selling volume. It's buying volume. They completely decimated the sell wall on Ethereum previously. And you can see the price action went up very drastically. It went around from 7,300,000 Satoshis all the way to almost 9 million Satoshis in a single day. Ethereum hasn't seen that in a while. And that's something to really be concerned about here. I mean, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. It seems like there's a lot of good money coming into cryptocurrencies. And Ethereum's not the only one. We can take a look at Bitcoin Cash. This was primarily the first candidate that I noticed. If we look here on BitHum and the rest of the exchanges, Corbit and Coin1, completely eating up the volume for Bitcoin Cash. And this isn't even the highs of its volume. It had over $1 billion traded on BitHum just alone for Bitcoin Cash the other day. Can you believe that? In 24 hours, $1 billion for one cryptocurrency. And it was what was leading to what was known as the cashing. I covered this on my channel when I talked about Bitcoin Cash and what was going on. A lot of people thought it was tied to just simply, the miners, but there's big money coming into it as well. Whether it has to do with the influence of the mining, the big thing that's pushing it up is not the miners making the switch. It's the money flowing in. The sell wall got eaten up on Bitcoin cashing. It was a quite large sell wall. If we look here, on an average day, you saw anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 in Bitcoin traded for Bitcoin Cash. And this is still a relatively new coin. And then out of nowhere, 67,000 all the way up at its peak on a single day in volume. And the days before it are nothing to bat away, 12,000 and 56,000 in Bitcoin volume. This isn't natural. This isn't normal. This is serious money coming into it. I'm going to say it a million times, and I'm going to say it right here. It is literally massive amounts of money coming into these cryptocurrencies. Now, where else have we seen this? There's one more candidate I want to cover before I want to talk about the potential opportunities, and that is Dash. Now, Dash didn't see anything major over the past 24 hours. However, BitHum completely ate up the majority of the volume traded on Dash. And we can see that Dash got a very nice boost up the other day. It was much higher at the time, around 5.8 thousand Bitcoin. However, in the past 24 hours, it's holding. It's holding the majority of those gains. This tells you that this is institutional money. They're not just pumping and dumping it. If that were the case, if they bought up everything, you would see the price back down here with a massive red candle going along the green one. They're holding it. This sell volume, or this volume right here, for the kind of, it's not even a pullback really. It's holding above its closing on that day. That's just, more retail investors like you and I. The big money's holding it, folks. And that's something to think about. It's not to be taken with a grain of salt. This is serious price action we're seeing. So now that we've talked about that, I think it's important we look into some of the opportunities. So how do we find out what coins could be next in this cycle of Korean exchanges continuously buying up cryptocurrency? Well, let's simply go look back at the BitHum chart. BitHum has a very limited amount of cryptocurrencies available to its exchange, yet it's the largest Korean exchange in the sense of volume. So, what candidates should we look to buy? Well, Ethereum already had its run up today. We can see it's at its highs, and Bitcoin Cash as well. These two candidates have already been kind of pressed up. Could they get more? Yeah, but we're looking for the candidates that have yet to really moon off. Bitcoin's going to be hard. I think you can see that it already has the most leading volume and outside of the two that have been really kind of propped up recently. But I don't think they're going to try and pump up Bitcoin. It's too large of a market. And they've already done Dash as well. We've already seen Dash go up today, and it might continue to go up, but we're looking for candidates that haven't. So there's three candidates left. There's Ripple, there's Litecoin, and Ethereum Classic. These three candidates right here, and I'm going to focus on primarily two, but Ripple applies in the same nature. Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, and Ripple have yet to see the mass volume from Korean exchanges, and I don't think it's too far off. I'm willing to put my odds against it as well and put my money where my mouth is. I currently hold positions, as you all know, long-term in Litecoin, and then I've also built a swing trade position in Ethereum Classic. And as you'll probably know by now, I'll probably have sent it out before the video, I sent an alert out to my Telegram group. I'm going to show you why, on the chart, why I believe this. Okay, so we can see Litecoin here. Litecoin's volume is nice and steady, around $158 million in the past 24 hours. We already see that Chinese exchanges are dominating on this right now, but BitHum is right behind there. And let's go ahead and look at the chart. Okay, now if I were a large-scale Korean investor, I sure as hell know I wouldn't have bought up here. That's just true. I wouldn't have paid at new highs. But where are we right now? Let's look at the chart. You don't need to apply any fancy technical indicators here, folks. We're just simply looking at support levels. Look where Litecoin found support. Right at 1 million Satoshis. Just as I've been saying for the past few weeks. I don't try to make too many calls on the channel, but I've been saying this for quite some time, that we were going to get a pullback towards the 200-day, which linked up around the support level. And we found it at 1 million Satoshis, and it's starting to go up. I bought Litecoin around 1,080,000 Satoshis, and I'm already up on the trade. Well, it's actually an investment. I'm already up on the investment so far. And folks, we haven't seen a breakout on it yet. The volume hasn't come in. what happens if we get one of these volume breakouts over here? What if we get 9.4 thousand Bitcoin traded and we get another one of these candles? I think there is an immense amount of return here, and it's going to come up much faster. We might be on the second scene of the altcoin bull run. And these could be some of the leading candidates, some of the legendaries that we had. With all this kind of ICO hype, we might see some of these, kind of leaders that have been lagging for a while coming back and taking charge in the market. So, Litecoin, keep it on your radar. I think it's a perfect holding, in my opinion. And then next up, I want to look at Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is sitting around 87 million in traded volume. It's a well-developed cryptocurrency. We can already see BitHum already dominates alongside two Chinese exchanges and Coin1 as the four leading exchanges for Ethereum Classic, making up at least 50% of the volume. So, I mean, we haven't seen any massive volume in it so far, but we can see that they've already got the lead, and it sounds like they're ready to take charge. And we can go here. We'll look at it. Oh, sorry, this is Ripple's chart. My apologies. Let me go over here to Ethereum Classic's chart. As I'm saying, folks, I think that we're seeing a major switch here. And Ethereum Classic's chart, it's already started building up here. I bought a position, I think around 360,000 Satoshis. If we go here to the daily, same thing as Litecoin. Found support at 300,000 Satoshis. And it looks like it's curving up and it's ready for a breakout. Will it follow in Ethereum's footsteps? Will it go even higher than Ethereum's footsteps? Well, let me tell you something. If we get anywhere close to the kind of volume we saw over here, look at the kind of price action that correlated with it. The sell wall? Practically non-existent. This will get eaten up by some Korean whale. It's not a pump and dump, folks. I don't want you to invest in pump and dumps. I want you to find opportunities where institutional investors are buying up large sums and making long-term investments in cryptocurrencies. It's coming faster than we think. And no, I'm not going to cover Ripple in this video. I want to keep it relatively short. Ripple's the same case. If you look at the chart, the sell wall, a little bit bigger, but at the same time, you could see a mass jump up if Ripple gets the same volume that Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Dash have seen. So, that being all said, you have to do your own research. Look into the numbers for yourself. I'm no financial advisor. You got to go out there and do your own research and really think about if you want to make some swings or long-term investment buys here at these levels. I think it's a prone opportunity, and I think that I not only believe in it, but I have my money in it. So, I'd love to hear what you all think, though. It's not guaranteed. This is kind of a skeptical conspiracy approach. That all being said, I'd love to hear what you all think in the comments below and get a discussion going. Do you think that we're going to see this in Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, or Ripple? Do you think that this is going to come to more cryptocurrencies as they move onto Korean exchanges? Or do you think that this is just some coincidence? I'd love to hear what you all think. I'd love to get a discussion going, as I stated before. And if you've got a coin, a topic, or a question leave it in the comments below, and I'll try to answer it as soon as possible. But until then, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.